All right, we're going to have a bit of a lengthy conversation with Taiwo Ebenezer, who is the chairman, Southwest region of the APCON, what you call the Association of Bureau the Change Operators of Nigeria. Good morning. Thanks for coming. We appreciate your time. We can't overflog this, so there's no need for big introduction. We all know what the state of the Naira is. We know where the Naira is. It's right down there on the floor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So the first question, we need to get started. As at this morning, where are we? We're talking about yesterday's figures here, so let's bring us up to speed.
This morning, dollar is 355. 355.
And how much will I be exchanging for the pound?
That's how bad it is. Pounds is now 475 in the market. That's how bad it is.
That's how bad it is, isn't it? So the question is, how did we get here? Remind us.
It's as a result of, you know, when you say demand or supply, the supply is so meager and the demand keep on increasing. And you know, when there are too much demand on a commodity, it determines the rate. So that's how we get there. There's shortage of dollar in the circulation.
How long have you been in this business?
I've been in this business for like 20 years.
20 years. Thank you very much. Nice one. So, how come we suddenly consume dollars like we consume rice, bread, something? Who's demanding for this money?
No, actually, it's as a result of our oil. You know, when there's drop in oil price,
yes,
then those are the area the oil price has been covering before. Then when there's a drop, you start seeing pressure, demand for this dollar, and the dollar is not there. And you know, in Nigeria, like my colleague from EcoBank rightly said, dollar is being used to fund some other areas like gas. They pay in dollar. There are other things they pay in dollar. Like our sector, we are just like 5% allocation that comes to us, like 5%. Like 95% are used for funding other sectors.
So 5% of the entire dollar or foreign currencies demand comes through the BDCs, for people who want to do from very little thing. So you guys are just 5%. So the remaining 95% is for the big transactions.
Big transactions. It's for the big transactions. If they can sustain our 5%, you understand, it makes a lot of meaning to the small scale industries, small scale businesses.
So who's bleeding the dollar? Is it you, Bureau the Change, 5%, or the 95%?
It's 95%. It's 95%
but again,
because they earn more than we do. But the utilization of our 5% is genuine for travelers. Like last week, there was intervention to importers from CBN.
From Central Bank.
Yes. By now, we're supposed to see the effects of those interventions. But instead, the price keep moving up.
The Central Bank does not have the dollar to sell because it doesn't earn from oil, as much as it used to, isn't it? So it naturally means that something just have to happen.
Yes, that's why we have find a lot of solutions if quickly addressed or approved by Central Bank. I think
what are some of your suggestions?
Some of our suggestions is the home remittance of Nigeria living abroad. If you check last year, over $20 billion were remitted to Nigeria from statistics.
By Nigerians
who live overseas. If CBN can approve, we tapping into those sources, okay? Because we don't have direct, you know, we are being regulated by CBN. If they can approve, we have an account up there. Then bringing in those things, we reduce the dollar. Then again, the international oil companies, if they can allow us to access those funds too,
how come the change operators, the BDCs, aren't allowed to access the IOC's dollar, the international oil companies? Is that not part of the autonomous market?
Yeah, it's part of the autonomous market, but so now we are not able to access it.
Why?
Because there is a circular needs to come from CBN approving those transactions, sources.
So when did the central bank ban you from doing that?
They banned us from doing that. I think from July 2014 when the current governor Emefiele came in. So all those channels were stopped. Okay.
So where do you
if
source
they
dollar
can,
from now? Where do you get dollar from? Where do you
currently
get
no
currency?
dollar, because our major source of dollar is CBN, which has been stopped early this year. That's the major source. And the banks, for us to source for autonomous, there's no circular. They are still waiting for circular from CBN to permit them to really deal with BDCs. So if they can quickly fast track and approve all those sources, there will be liquidity of dollar in circulation, and it will help the economy to reduce the...
Tell us, how much further do you think the Naira will fall against the US dollar? Let's use that as the benchmark.
For now, we don't know, because it keeps on falling, except if these windows are open. You know, as a bureau de change, if not a circular or directive of central bank, an oil company cannot just walk into a bureau de change and say, I want to sell my... This is not possible. There must be, because we are being regulated by CBN. Okay, and for CBN to have control, we have series of meetings with them that you must have control over these FX. So it's better you, CBN, you control this dollar into central bank and allocate to BDCs.
But the central bank says no more allocations to you.
So if there's no more allocation, the autonomous window, that's where the autonomous window comes in. And autonomous window can only come in through maybe bank, or if they are directed, then we can come together as a BDC, fund and get the dollar from all these international oil companies and distribute it to help the economy and to relax, to enable the Naira to appreciate.
If you look at the manufacturers, do you have them as a source of FX?
Yeah, like our proposal to CBN is to enable manufacturer the export proceeds, to enable us access the export proceeds. But until these approvals comes from them, that's why we are still talking for them to fast track to help the Naira. So if all these things are not done, the Naira will keep on depreciating.
So I'm going to ask the question again. We're around 400, 350.
355.
355. How much further do you think you see the Naira value? Honestly speaking, from the bottom of your heart, 20 years you've been in this business?
Yes.
Yes.
If between now and next week, these windows are not open, it will get to 400 to $1. Because there's no other source that this dollar comes into circulation. And there are a lot of demand pressure. Like on Friday, the banks, you know, the area we fund, the school fees, the small scale. So since we are cut off, those people rush to bank. So there are pressure on bank. That's why you see CBN coming up that it's not as if they stop bank from selling school fees, BTA, but the fund is not there. The banks are not selling.
The central bank banned about 41 items as part of containing the outflow of foreign currencies. Do you agree with that?
We agree, because it's not in our own jurisdiction to fund. We don't fund those 41 items. You know, being regulated, we have our own area that we...
But do you agree with that policy?
No, it's a policy.
Do you agree with it?
You know, when you bring up a policy, if it works the way you want, it means it's a stable policy. But if you think it's going to work the way you want and it's not working, it's better you reverse it or you relax on those policies.
So would you
Because
advise
all
the
those
central
things they ban, okay, like agriculture, if you plant rice now, it will take some period to germinate before you start harvesting. And when your policy is coming that you stop importation of rice, why the one you planted is yet to germinate, not to talk of harvest? Then you are tightening the whole economy for them to suffer or labor pending when the one you just planted will germinate and ripe for harvest. So that's why they need to relax on some policy pending when we are mature for those things, then it can materialize.
A very honest question, sincere question. Do you think our demand for foreign currencies, quote unquote, is abnormal?
It's not abnormal because it's normal. Because presently we still depend on foreign goods. Like your suits, the suit you are putting on now. If I call Nigeria tailor to make the suit for you, say, it's not my standard. You want suit from Dubai.
I'm not going to answer that. But just go ahead.
You want suit from outside the country. So because we still depend on those foreign goods.
No, I'm not going to come. I don't think I'm going to wear agbada to do a business shop. So don't put me on the spot.
Even if you put agbada to do, you still want to buy fabric from Mali, from...
Really?
Outside the country. So all those things, you spend all those foreigners to bring them in until we are ripe. You understand? To take charge of those things before we say...
I'm going to try a made in Nigeria suit. Now you've challenged me openly.
No, it's not. No, till we get to
no,
that
the boys in...
Well, if you look at the toothpick we use today, we have a lot of trade there, but the toothpick we use, we import them.
Yes, but you can eat a rice made in China, and you can use, you can eat a chicken imported from Malaysia, then use a Chinese toothpick. That's called the global lunch, an international
all
lunch.
those is
but this is $8.
All those things deplete our dollar.
Yes.
Yes.
So
because importers must come.
So our demand, therefore, for foreign currency is abnormal.
Very, very abnormal in that area.
Yes.
But in the area which we represent, Bureau de Change, like you are sick now, you want to go abroad for medical treatment. You are even traveling on vacation. Because what we deal on is personal traveling allowance, business traveling allowance.
So why don't people just travel to...
Since you cannot, it's not, our Naira is not acceptable in UK, US.
It's not convertible.
It's not convertible. That's why you need their currencies to go there. So you need it. You need it. Until the convertibility works, so that I can know that if I'm traveling, I can spend my Naira anywhere.
So but don't you think we're spending so much on overseas education? Really? Honestly?
It's just like China's television, for example. If I come with a University of Benin certificate, and somebody is coming from Texas University certificate, this was studied abroad. You believe, because he studied abroad, he knows more than. And you forget to realize that the best doctor in the world is from Nigeria. The best engineer is a Nigerian. So until we start to value our country, like when we are interacting with CBN, they say there's nowhere in the world that is done that central bank fund BDC. Then you are learning, you are still allow yourself to be colonized. You understand? Because you depend or you learn always from overseas policy. Why don't you fund BDC? Let them now learn from you that from Nigeria, let them make you point of reference instead of you making them point of reference.
I like that argument.
Okay? That from Nigeria, if you see the way they fund their BDC, it gives them chance to control the foreign exchange in the economy. Okay? But when you are learning from foreign, you are just importing policy, let them import your policy.
Okay. Let's have a break. We'll come back after the break. I think you're stepping into the second part of that conversation. We need to ask specific questions about you, Bureau de Change operators. We'll be back in 2. Stick around, everyone.